Hey everybody, Motorport59 here. It's been a while since I've posted a video. I've just been absolutely slammed these last few months, and it's just hard to find the time to do this stuff, take care of my other channel. I started a Patreon account for my other channel, which is like having another channel. I'll probably shut that down because it's not getting much attention. Give me a little more time to do this stuff because I like doing this stuff. But as I said, I just haven't had the chance. But the elections are coming up, and I want to talk a little bit about the propositions. I'm not going to go over who I'm going to vote for or why, because it doesn't matter. I'm going to vote for the Republicans because a bad Republican is better than any Democrat. So let's start with Proposition 1. Proposition 1 deals with abortions in California. The recent case of Roe v. Wade being overturned by the Supreme Court had absolutely no effect and will have no effect on abortions in California. Now, I'm not going to vote on this. Let me say that. I'm not going to vote either way. I'm just not going to vote. I'm going to abstain because I've never believed that abortion should be a political football. I just don't look at it like that. It's a very personal thing. The only thing I saw in the text of this bill that it didn't say it specifically, but it talks a lot about privacy. And I think that a lot of that, even though, like I said, it doesn't say it by name, but I think that this is going to strengthen the ability of minors to get abortions without having to notify their parents or guardians. I don't agree with that, but nonetheless, I'm not going to vote on it. Love me or hate me, I'm going to stick to my guns on that. Prop 26 is one of two propositions involving gambling, expanding gambling at Indian casinos. 26 is going to allow table games at Indian casinos. I really wasn't aware that they didn't allow that already. To be honest with you, I've only been to a couple of Indian casinos. If I want to gamble, I'm going to go to Vegas, or I'm going to go to Reno or Laughlin. I'm not going to go around here. There are quite a few regional ones, but I've never been to any of them. For California, I'm going to vote no on that. And the reason I'm going to vote no, I have nothing against gambling. I don't have anything against Native Americans. And I don't think that these casinos, when you look around at the reservations as a whole, I just don't think that this is benefiting the tribes as a whole. And when you read the not the rebuttals, but when you read the pros and cons, the fors and againsts about this, I don't know how many tribes there are. I'm in California. I'm not an expert on Native American affairs and numbers, but it just seems to me that there are, as with most industries like this, there are a few people making a lot of money, and it's not getting spread around. This should have been addressed, I think, at the beginning, and I imagine it's like the lotto is in California as far as the school systems go, how much money this was going to make every school system in California wealthy, and it just hasn't done that. The money is not going to where it's supposed to go. As I said, 26, 27, that's for table games. 27 is about mobile sports wagering outside tribal lands. No, I don't think so. I don't want to do that either. I don't think that's a good idea. Again, nothing against gambling, nothing against the Native Americans. I just don't. I think it's just a way for a few people to expand their fiefdoms there. And hey, I may be wrong, but when I read this, that's what I read into it. Unlike tribes with large casinos, my tribe struggles to provide basic needs for our people. I haven't, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about this, but I've been around on a lot of reservations, and I don't see much wealth being spread around no matter how big the casinos are. I could be wrong. If I am, drop in the comments below. But I'm never for a few people making a lot of money out the backs of others and I don't like the idea of them using the plight of the Native American to enhance wealth at the top. And you know me, I'm a red-blooded capitalist, but that's not the way that is supposed to work. Don't believe the false attacks on 27. By taxing and regulating online betting sports adults over 21, and that's what this is claiming, that it's going to create a lot more revenue for the state. And, and it probably will. But it says we can finally address homelessness in California while protecting tribal sovereignty. I wasn't aware that tribal sovereignty was under attack. Maybe it is, but it's certainly not going to help homelessness. It's not going to do anything for homelessness in California. And there are a few tribes for it, and there are a few tribes against it. So there you go. I don't know. Proposition 28, additional funding for arts and music education in public schools. I was on the fence about this for a while, but I think I'm going to go ahead and vote yes on this, because I believe that too many elective programs like music we're losing those. I would like to see some of the trades come back into high schools, more funding for shop classes and welding classes and things like that kids can really put to use. Because a lot of kids aren't going to be able to afford to go to college, or they don't want to go to college. They just want to go to work. And these kind of things give them the opportunities, these electives. And I love music, obviously. We had a really, really good music program at Tehachapi High. I never took any music classes. I wish I had, but I didn't. And I think it's a good thing. According to the fiscal effects, it's going to increase state costs by about $1 billion annually. But if it's for something that's going to, in my opinion, enhance the future of children, because everybody needs to love music, in my opinion. Prop 29, this is something I did a standalone video on a few weeks ago. This is the SEIU, the Service Employees International Union, or whatever the heck it's called, trying to get their foot in the door of the dialysis community. That's all this is about. I was shocked that their name isn't on the people who are pushing this. But I think that unions are starting to be less and less well-liked, and people are starting to understand what a lot of these unions are all about. Most unions, and it's as I've said for years, it's not about members anymore. It's about membership, and that's all this is about. It will increase costs. They want to unionize these. They want to put extra doctors in, and that will drive the cost of dialysis up. You can go back and look at that video I did on Prop 29. It will drive the cost of everything up, and it's going to make it unavailable. It will change the way Medicare and Medi-Cal are attached to dialysis. It will change those parameters, and so yeah, I'm going to vote no on this, and I hope you do too, because this is all about the unionization of the dialysis industry. Prop 30 provides funding for programs to reduce air pollution and prevent wildfires by increasing tax on personal income over $2 million. Anyone that could read that and believe there was a shred of truth to that is, I don't like calling people names. How is taxing people who make over $2 million a year going to do anything to reduce air pollution or prevent wildfires? That is a fallacy. I just cannot believe this is part of the new Green New Deal, or what the hell ever they call it. This is along those lines. This is nothing more than funding the climate change crowd. That's all this is about. It's crap. I can't believe anybody could read that and believe that already said that. Prop 31, referendum on 2020 law that would prohibit the retail sale of certain flavored tobaccos. I'm going to vote no on this, and the reason is I am an anti-smoking Nazi. I smoked for a while when I was young. I quit in 1991. I hate smoking. I think it's a disgusting habit. I think it's a weakness. I think it's a crutch. It's an addiction. There's absolutely no redeeming qualities about the use of tobacco, whether it's smoking, cigarettes, cigars, vaping, chewing, whatever. But you know what? If people want to do it, more power to them. Go ahead and do it. Just keep it out of my face. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see your gross ass spit jars and cups and whatnot. And I don't want to smell your nasty cigarettes, and I darn sure don't want to smell your nasty cigars. But hey, if you want to smoke, I mean, there's no question anymore whether or not tobacco products are bad for you. Everybody knows they are, every single one of them. There's no form of tobacco that is not bad for you. A lot of this other stuff, or any bonds, I'm not going to vote for any bonds. I'm going to vote no on every bond measure, because bond is just another word for tax. And I am opposed to taxes, new taxes, raising taxes. I'm opposed. It's like the arts and the music and arts. That's not going to raise taxes. That's just going to change the way that current taxes are allocated within the education system. I don't know how many of you folks who watch me live in Kern County, but they have a couple of measures in here. And Measure E, I had all this stuff written down. I was going over it with my dad a couple of weeks ago, and I had no idea what I did with all those notes. But Measure E is just another bond issue. So is Measure H. Measure J is about term limits for county supervisors. And this could be a national thing. Right now, this is just a Kern County thing, but I'm for term limits. I don't care what the position is. I don't care what the office is. I am all for term limits. And I think that this should be kicked up the chain to everything. The president already has term limits. Why shouldn't folks in the House have term limits? Measure L here in Kern County, is about how they're going to choose their fire and police chiefs, whether they should still have to choose them from within the departments, the local departments, whether it's county or city, or would they be able to bring them in from somewhere else? I think that doing it locally, those people already understand the issues and they have a grip on it. On the other side of that coin, bringing people in from outside kind of eliminates the good old boy network. Maybe, because maybe this person they bring in from somewhere else is a believer in the good old boy network. So, but I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote to keep it the way it is, selecting those offices from local and regional ranks. I was going to do a standalone video about this, but it really wouldn't be a couple of minutes long, so I'm going to get through this quickly. Judges are appointed at some point by people and then reelected down the road, which is what's going on right now. And really the only way especially if they've been appointed in the last 20 years, it's political. It has nothing to do with justice. It has nothing to do with equality. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's all about politics. And you can go through this list, and you can always go pull these names up of these judges and find out the record of how they had judged on various things, where they stood on things. And you'll pretty much find, I didn't do it for all of them, I did it for a couple of them. You'll pretty much find that it's right down political lines. Patricia Guerrero was appointed by Gavin Newsom. Goodwin Liu was appointed by Governor Brown. Martin J. Jenkins was appointed by Gavin Newsom. Joshua P. Groban was appointed by Brown. Brad R. Hill, I think he's just running. Anyway, and again, I had all this stuff written down, and I don't know what I did with it. Jennifer Detjen was appointed by Gray Davis. I got this written down here. Davis and Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know why I wrote both of those down. Sorry. But anyway, she wasn't appointed by a Republican. The only one who was out of all this group is Bert Levy, who was appointed by Pete Wilson. Now, Pete Wilson was a Republican, but he was a pretty moderate Republican. I was still pretty young when he was governor. But anyway, you can go through those. And again, these are California issues. They're not national issues. But no matter where you are, if you're curious about the judges that are up for re-election or to be elected for the first time, if they weren't appointed, just go back and look at their records. If they haven't been a judge yet, go back, look them up, look up their records as attorneys and see what they did. See if they were public defenders or whether they worked for a big law firm. That is how I'm going to go with the propositions this time. And I suggest that you read the text of all these, at least the basics of all these propositions, see who's supporting them, see who's against them, and then where the judges are concerned, look up their records, see who appointed them, and make your decisions based on what your gut tells you. All right, that'll do it for that video. Got anything to say? Leave the comments below. Shoot me an email at motorpoet59@gmail.com. Like, share, subscribe, click on the bell if you want to be notified of future content. We'll see you all later.